Inside a dusty workshop, this man looks like he's repairing something to help rebuild a collapsed home. But he's making something equally important to so many Haitians after the earthquake, a prosthetic limb. Many earthquake survivors lost limbs. There are now thousands of amputees in Haiti, and they range in age and ability to deal with the loss. And that makes the prosthetics lab on the Mission of Hope such an important facility. Buzzing can be heard coming from this lab most of the day, and Haitians like David Justin are doing the work to help their fellow citizens and to get crucial training and employment. When I spoke to him about what he's doing now, his passion is obvious.
After the earthquake, I know that from the people who really need. When I came here, they said they need people to train, to work as a processes, to make legs. And when I start to work with the people, I see that exactly that need they really want. That makes me really, really, really love it. Because when you do that, you help people a lot.
David is one of many Haitians employed at Mission of Hope, and he's certainly not alone in finding satisfaction helping out his own people.
It's something different, okay? You feel like you're doing something for those people. If it wasn't for you, they probably could die or just stay home and wait for what's going to happen to them. So you make a difference in those people's life.
Dr. Jennifer is the chief MD at the Mission's hospital, and while she knew she was going to be practicing medicine in Haiti, a place where crises and catastrophes are a fact of life, when she was in medical school, it never occurred to her she'd have to deal with a disaster on the scale of last year's quake.
I heard about earthquake on the TV, but I never imagined I could have to take care of so many people after earthquake, people who lose legs or with trauma. No, never.
These days, the clinic at Mission of Hope is back to pre-quake normals. Instead of seeing 200-plus patients a day like they did for months after the quake, now they're seeing 50 to 70 people a day. A much more manageable amount of people, according to Dr. Cheryl Vandermark, who gave us some time out of a steady day on the mission to give us an updated tour of the clinic.
It's been a really busy year, but it's been a good year.
In fact, Dr. Cheryl, as she's known on the mission, says while the quake was devastating, as hard as it is to imagine, it actually benefited them.
It's been, in some ways, a huge blessing. We were able to provide a lot more for the Haitian people. So our clinic is expanding, and we're able to add on an extension now, finishing off the hospital that we've had a vision for all this time to really support the people in this area.
Inside the lab, which last year was hastily transformed into an operating room where patients' x-rays were taped to the windows so doctors could see what they were trying to fix, this year it is full of new and better equipment to better help the people who visit. Here, a local lab technician is counting white blood cells under a microscope. Last year, all of the clinic's scopes were destroyed when they fell off shelves as the earth shook. The feeling inside the same room 1 year to the next was much more positive. The expansion Vandermark was talking about is also really taking shape at this point. But like everything in Haiti, it takes time. Bucket by bucket, cement is poured as work continues on the new addition. Here again, the mission is employing locals. Haitian laborers do a majority of the work under the guidance of a local engineer and a North American contractor. Until the expansion is complete, extra beds for overflow patients at the mission are set up inside this warehouse. These beds were set up to deal with an anticipated increase in patients when Hurricane Tomas was bearing down on Haiti. But the last-minute course change meant they dodged that bullet. Vandermark says, though, they couldn't have been more prepared for that potential catastrophe. Beyond the beds is the main storage facility for medical supplies the mission needs to do its work. From bandages to needles and syringes and so much more, the shelves are almost overflowing. But Cheryl says they're so well stocked because people have been so generous in contributing to what they're doing here right now. Mission of Hope is fortunate enough to have a surplus of supplies and equipment which isn't being used, so it's being made available to other missions and facilities in the area. In fact, it's grown so much in the last year that it's now a key part of the local healthcare industry. But the mission is about more than healthcare.
6, 7, 8.
Enrollment at the school on the mission has doubled in the year to 2,500 students. They range in age from kindergarten right up to high school. And while the thirst for knowledge is clear, the conditions at the schools are similar, yet so different to what students in North America know. The uniforms are bright and bold and mandatory. The classrooms have cinder block walls and are decorated with student work between the blackboards, but the ceiling above them shows the exposed beams with fans to keep young minds cool in the often stifling Haitian heat. Of course, none of these kids knows any other reality.
Okay. Bon? Toute famille bien?
The co-founder of Mission of Hope is Vanessa Johnson. She's originally from Fort Erie, but married an American and moved to Haiti to help set up the mission in October of 1998. They thought they'd be here for a year. But for most of the past 12 years, she and her family have lived here, and she now considers herself to be Haitian. And her take of the year after the quake sounds similar to so many other people we spoke to.
It became very intense for our staff and just our families, our Hope House kids. There was just a lot of fear, a lot of concern for the future. For day by day was difficult, but these people are strong and they have incredible passion for their life, and they make it happen. They do their very best with what they have been given.
Johnson says the focus at the mission school right now is to try and get the students, and then by extension their parents and families, to overcome the intense fear that built up after the earthquake.
And one of our songs that we sing is translated, "I'm not going to fear. I'm not going to fear today. I've moved past a year from now. It's still hard, but yeah, we're gonna press on, and we're gonna make it have a different life."
Life has been very different in the last year from many of the other kids at Mission of Hope. Haiti was already a country full of orphans and orphanages, and with so many people dying in the quake, suddenly a surge of children were left without parents. Luckily, the mission has been able to quickly build several new buildings where many children are now living and calling home. The reality for so many of them is they'll never be adopted. But when you consider the alternatives in Haiti, they're in a good place. A 10-minute drive from the mission brings us to this new community where a group of missionaries is helping put the final touches on 4 new structures which could become the prototypes for future homes. 1 year after the earthquake, with an estimated 1 million Haitians still living in some form of transitional housing like those blue structures over my shoulder there, the question is what happens after their 2-year lifespans run out? Where are these people going to be living, and what are their communities going to look like? Well, right here, this is an example of a neighborhood where some 200 homes, permanent homes, are going to be built in the next year. These colorful 2-room abodes are simple. Inside, they don't have any kitchens or washrooms, but in Haiti, this is enough. The homes also come with land which can be farmed so people can grow their own food and perhaps even have enough to sell at the local market. Lawrence Vandermark has high hopes for the project.
I think if you come back in a year, you're going to see some drastic changes to the landscape, not only just for shelters, but things will grow. We hope that this becomes a community. We're not just building houses for people to live in by themselves.
But getting to this point hasn't been easy, and that's why only 4 homes have been finished so far. While a donor is putting up $1 million and a challenge to see 200 built in a year, he's also put conditions on the cash. The labor must be Haitian. Mission workers can only help with the finishing touches like painting, which there is plenty to do. But the community also needs the approval of the local mayor, who is now ready to give the project a go-ahead. A huge relief to Lawrence, who's clearly impressed with what he's seen from Haitians in the face of so many challenges in the last year.
Tenacity is a word that I'll use for a lot of our Haitian friends, and just being able to get on with their life, not forgetting what's happened, but just being able to get on with their life and trying to make changes both for themselves as well as their family and their friends. And we see that at the mission with some of our employees. Just continuing to try and strive to make things better.
As Lawrence and Cheryl continue their work at the mission with no specific end date in sight to come back to Waterdown, their powerful memories of the last year are always on their minds.
It's been a lot of tragedy, it's been a lot of difficulty, but we feel that we've grown in our strength of character and in our resolve, and it's kind of a year I'd never want to give back, even though it's been the most difficult year of our lives.
It's also been a great year of reflection and saying, well, my family and my life was spared. Why was it spared? Mm-hmm. What's the purpose for me still to be here? And that's challenged me to say, okay, there's a reason that I'm still here and a reason that I'm going to do this and do that and to change things.
On the way back to Port-au-Prince from the mission, we stopped at a place in the Haitian desert which brings up some of the most powerful emotions and memories of our time here. 1 year ago, this plot of land in Titayen became one of the horrors of the aftermath of the earthquake. Before January 12th, this was just an empty field like everywhere else around here. But afterwards, it became a dumping ground and a mass grave for thousands of bodies, and now it's covered in crosses. A memorial for the dead, who will most likely never be identified, was held here the day before the anniversary. The crosses are big and small, perhaps signifying the range and age of the people hastily brought here as officials tried to remove as many bodies as they could from populated areas in the earthquake's aftermath. The promise from the government is that the people buried here will never be forgotten and that this will forever be sacred ground. When Haiti 1 year later continues, we'll show you how the biggest hospital in Haiti is recovering and how one NGO is saving lives in the battle to control the spread of cholera.